Hey guys, I'm back, and I'm gonna be playing some more Mass Effect today. So, I hope you guys enjoy. Let's take care of whatever I have to do with the squad first. Apparently, somehow, I'm still going Paragon then Renegade. So, I do think I still want to be Renegade. Give a sniper in combat to first aid, and then one more to Spectre training. Okay. Oh, I have completed some stuff, so that's good. And looking for Liara, I remember that much.
In the early 2160s, the Alliance began aggressive colonization of worlds in the Skyllian Verge, much to the dismay of the Batarians, who had been developing the region for several decades. In 2171, the Batarians petitioned the Council to declare the Verge a zone of Batarian interest. The Council refused, however, declaring unsettled worlds in the region open to human colonization. In protest, the Batarians closed their Citadel embassy and severed official diplomatic relations with the Council, effectively becoming a rogue state. They instigated a proxy war in the Verge by funneling money and weapons to criminal organizations, urging them to strike at human colonies. Hostilities peaked with the Skyllian Blitz of 2176, an attack on the human capital of Elysium by Batarian-funded pirates and slavers. In 2178, the Alliance retaliated with a crushing assault on the moon of Torfin, long used as a staging base by Batarian-backed criminals. In the aftermath, the Batarians retreated into their own systems and are now rarely seen in Citadel space.
Okay. Yeah.
After the geth secure a location, they round up an impaled dead and Thresher maws are subterranean carnivores that spend their entire lives eating or searching for something to eat. Threshers reproduce via spores that can lie dormant for millennia, yet are robust enough to survive prolonged periods in deep space and atmospheric re-entry. As a result, thresher spores appear on many worlds, spread by previous generations of space travelers. The body of a thresher never entirely leaves the ground. Only the head and tentacles erupt from the earth to attack. In addition to physical attacks, threshers have the ability to project toxic chemicals and emit bursts of infrasound as a shockwave weapon. The Alliance first encountered threshers on the colony of Akuz in 2177. After contact was lost with the Pioneer team, Marine units were deployed to investigate. The shore parties were set upon by hungry threshers, and nearly the entire assault force was killed. Alliance forces recommend engaging threshers with vehicle-mounted heavy weapons.
Yeah, I ran into that on one occasion, and I hated it.
The home world and capital of humanity is entering a new golden age. The resource wealth of a dozen settled colonies and 100 industrial outposts flows back to Earth, fueling great works of industry, commerce, and art. The great cities are greening as arcology skyscrapers and telecommuting allow more efficient use of land. Earth is still divided among nation-states, though all are affiliated beneath the overarching banner of the Systems Alliance. While every human enjoys a longer and better life than ever, the gap between rich and poor widens daily. Advanced nations have eliminated most genetic disease and pollution. Less fortunate regions have not progressed beyond 20th century technology and are often smog-choked, overpopulated slums. Sea levels have risen 2 meters in the last 200 years, and violent weather is common due to environmental damage inflicted during the late 21st century. The past few decades, however, have seen significant improvement due to recent technological advances.
Cool. I don't want to read any of those. It's gonna kill me. Okay. I remember I was looking for Liara. Lynn? Sub squad. If I've been here. Okay, I have been here before. And we're just going to leave and return to the Normandy. Sorry about that whole epic debacle. Forgot how I had done that. Okay, I've explored there. Malka is a large hydrogen-helium gas giant with traces of fluorine and sulfur in the atmosphere. Its massive fuel tugs many asteroids in the outer belt inwards past the orbit of Altair and Etelus, and eventually settle into the inner belt. Malka's orbit is congested with hundreds of captured moons. Most last only a few thousand years before being ejected, dragging down into the atmosphere. Dragged into the atmosphere, ripped apart by tidal forces, and added to the gas giant's immense rings. Attempting to navigate the chaotic environment is hazardous at best. Ships without military-grade kinetic barriers are likely to suffer catastrophic impact. Survey. Gas deposit surveyed. Scan from the orbit has detected a large concentration of hydrogen. Okay. Zoom out. We're there. Yeah, I've already looked at this one. And I've already looked at that one. So it's just this little guy over here. Alsage. Small distant Alsage is a small terrestrial with a trace atmosphere of methane and argon. The surface is composed of water, ice, and calcium with occasional deposits of light metals. During the Alliance's pirate suppression campaign in the 2160s, the Batarian Eliam Ranpera was caught with his frigate Tunrian grounded on Alsage's pressurized discharge. When challenged by the cruiser Burabad, Ranpera refused to surrender. The Tunrian was destroyed and attempted to take off. The debris is strewn across the southern hemisphere. Survey. Rare elements surveyed. Scanned for have detected a small deposit of plutonium. Okay, cool. Okay, that one's done. Athens. Here. Yes, travel to the other system. Vargalis is a standard hydrogen-helium giant gas with an abundance of airborne hydrocarbons. Survey. Gas deposit surveyed. Scans from Earth have detected a large concentration of xenon. Is the second of the Hexagon system giant terrestrial planets, and by far the most interesting. Most of the surfaces can provide vast sea of liquid ammonia, for which a unique aquatic ammonia-based biosphere has developed. While the frozen continents are largely bereft of life, a rich bounty of complex organisms, many larger than heat, forests, and chilly toxic seas. While dreadfully inhospitable to humans, Petovich is sustainable for colonization by the Volus Levication. Negotiations between the System Alliance and the Volus patrons, the Turian hierarchy, have made good progress. Cool. Sharjala has a very dense atmosphere of ammonia and oxygen. Its temperature surface is mainly composed of aluminum, which deposits of sulfur. Comm buoys in the system have recently logged a number of unregistered vehicles operating nearby. It has an extremely silicon-based oxygen-breathing ecology. It has an extensive silicon-based oxygen-breathing ecology. Heavily populated areas are converted with fine silica, silicon dioxide dust, respiratory byproduct as the world's higher apple farms. High-speed surface winds, often laden with abrasive silicon dust, present a hazard. In areas where the wind deposits a great deal of silica, footing can be treacherous. PAs are discouraged. Let's see if I can land. And I'll take Garrus this time. I don't think seeing this will ever get old. Yeah, interesting place. Map. Anomaly. Freeze. Stronghold. Go to the anomaly and make our way back around. Set destination. Guys, we got this. Get Q to escape.
Kill them all!
Survey the mineral. And here we go. Rare element surveyed. You have successfully surveyed a large deposit of thorium. You guys are a little bit tense. Can you calm down, please? It's a rock. A rock is what you guys wanted to kill. Good job. You protected me so well. Almost there. Ready? Got this. Fall and kill us. here we are.
Securing point.
Let's open the crate. Oh, sure, I'll take it. I don't mind. I'll hop back in the maker and just drive down so I don't have to climb back up. And here we are. Sorry capsule. Cover artifact. Matriarch's writings recovered. It's not clear who lived here, but appears to have been abandoned for some time. The container in the tent held, among other things, one of Matriarch Dillanaga's writings. Cool. It's a cool little discovery. Killed you too, right? Crushing you. Okay, let's get ourselves prepared here. It's not the one I wanted. There we go. Shift. You're fine with the shotgun, you're fine with the rifle. Okay, let's go everybody, let's go!
I'm on it. Get down!
Come on. There you go, buddy. Sorry about that. That one's dead. Got one more up there, apparently. Sniper. Probably Joe. Yeah, I'll take it. Take all. Take all. Take all. Shift.
All patched up.
There you go, buddy. And then this guy should be over here somewhere. Probably upstairs, I guess. Come on, guys, let's go. The faster we leave, the faster we grab everything that's on this planet. And she's down.
Perimeter clear.
Thanks for the obvious. Okay. Open the door. Let's explore. Make it on the floor. Walk like a dinosaur. Discovered evidence that the Asari leading these slavers and Sana Dantius, an important ambassador of the Citadel, are sisters. You should return the Presidium and confront Asana with this. Download the evidence. My skill is too low. My skill is too low. I'll have to come back here at some point. Back around we go, and then on to more important things. Other than confronting person. You confront later. Right now, a little busy looking for somebody. Okay, map. Let's go to those debris. Let's go in this direction. Glad I got to fight some pirates. It was interesting. Not crazy, but it was interesting.
On my way.
The Citadel has a sibling who is a slayer. That's interesting. Don't you think? Really?
On my way.
There we go. Oh my goodness gravy. There we go. Take off. And now to get back in and head back to the Normandy. Yep. Okay, on to the next planet. Zoom out. Forlon is an enormous terrestrial planet, half again the size of Earth, despite its thick atmosphere. The big output of the red dwarf Mastodon leaves its surface biting cold. The crust is mainly composed of silica, but significant deposits of iron and other industrial materials are present. These lobes may prove rich enough to be profitably mined despite the high and heavy gravity. Survey. Matriarch's writings recovered. You were scanning the planet Horulon when a strange signal came from orbit. Navigator Presley determined the signal was from an accident from an ancient beacon. The salvage team brought the beacon aboard and found one of Matriarch Delnaga's writings in the storage compartment. Okay, so now. So we're finding a lot of stuff. Okay, zoom back in. Yes, drop to another system. Okay, let's go to Salamis. The geological properties of Salamis have been scanned from orbit, but little else is known about it due to its thick carbon dioxide atmosphere proximity to the energetic star. Athens, the equatorial daytime temperatures have been known to turn the surface molten. The crust is composed of iron with deposits of platinum metals. Proteus. Like the Hanner homeworld, Proteus is more than 90% oceanic covered. The incredible heat thrown off from Athens raises global humidity to 100%, creates constant cloud cover, and powers colossal typhoons that rage across the surface year-round. Hot, humid, and storm-racked, Proteus's rare combination of oxygen, nitrogen, atmosphere, and carbon-based biosphere nevertheless recommended for colonization. The pilot program is studying the possibility of colonies below the ocean surface, safe from the worst effects of the weather. No. Go back. Let me survey. Gas deposit surveyed. Proteus has a large amount of free oxygen. Okay, cool. That was helpful. Traces of sodium in the atmosphere gave Mississa its overall dull gray color, but it's otherwise a typical hydrogen-helium gas giant. An abundance of water vapor in the upper atmosphere account for its white clouds. Okay. Cool. Circe is a modestly sized hydrogen-helium gas giant with traces of sulfur and chlorine. This gave it its striking yellow-green tint. As the development of the Proteus colony continues, Circe will likely be developing helium-3 mining. Cool. Gas deposit surveyed. While scanning this gas giant, you detected a large concentration of helium-3. Zoom out. And off we go to the next system. Oh god, I'm not gonna see this right. Vistos is a small terrestrial with a trace atmosphere of carbon dioxide and xenon. The surface is scorching hot and mainly composed of sulfur and various silicates. There is a little of interest on this desolate world. Okay. This is you. Is a distant but rich industrial world claimed by the Human Systems Alliance. Its plentiful heavy metals have fueled the recent manufacturing boom on Earth. The core sample is rich with fossils of simple silicon-based organisms indicate Terra was once habitable in the past, than it is at present. Perhaps this explains the many Prothean ruins dotting the surface, most of which have been looted by mining companies. Oh my god, by mine corporations. There we go. I got it out finally. Let's do humans this time. Here we go again. Okay. Bet. I guess let me follow this path.
Commander, I'm picking up some strange readings. Really strange, like off the damn charts. It looks like it's coming from an underground complex a few clicks away from the drop zone.
Okay. I guess we're just gonna go. This place looks cool. Good scenery. It's such a beautiful
This route's a no-go. They have height and cover.
I don't think we can take that strong point head on. Let's go. Don't worry, guys. We got this. Subscription. Here we go. Take You're done. Gates open. Still, let's look around a bit more. No one says we can't. Besides, no point in not destroying the rest of the enemies around here, right?
Nobody's here. Looked great. I'll take it. Here we go. Take all. Stuff here. Yep, I was right. There'd be stuff over here. Mine. I definitely want those syndicate rounds, if that's exactly what that said. My favorite type of round. Set things on fire. Open that gate too. That'd probably be a good idea. Probably somebody hidden in here. Okay, dead. Good. Some decryption. There we go. Let's open the other gate. And then we'll head back to the Mako. At least this makes it easier for us to run. If we need to. Or just to leave. Hey, who's shooting? Ah, yeah, inside. Yeah, let's open with that and get in the car. Get in the Mako, guys. Let's get in the Mako. That's done. Okay. Pretty sure I got everything. If not, I can always come back later. Buddy. Bye, bud. Done. Oh, great. curiosity. What's over here? Anything important? If not, I'll just go away. Okay, it doesn't look like anything of importance. My curiosity did not serve me well in this one.
Like an oven here.
I bet. Almost there, I hope. Not then this is a really long drive. Hear that ship? Why am I jammed? Probably because there's enemies. Okay guys, we can do this. We got this. Human team, let's go.
Hostile contact.
Now it gets fun.
Down you go, hon.
Shields down.
Down.
Bring it on.
Okay. Got your shotgun, got your rifle. Seems to be fine so far.
I smell trouble. Lost shields.
Dang it. Now. So where is that other... Done. Done.
Powering up.
Fair enough. Don't see any more.
Negative contacts, Commander.
Thank you. Let's go, guys. Peeked over the ridge.
Negative contacts, Commander.
Thank you. We got this. I wouldn't want to fall into that. God, this is such a long walk. Anybody else wanna play peekaboo? On the ICU of death, where I should shoot you in the cranium? I swear to God, if it's another one of those creepy crawlies, I'm gonna cry. It's a creepy crawly. Great. I hate you. You're the worst. Googly moogly.
Deployed.
It did. You doofus. Oh my god, you're an idiot. I hate you. Right now I'm not happy with you. At all. we're not the greatest of helps.
All clear, Commander.
Okay. Anything interesting over here? Nothing that I can see that would be of interest to me. Okay, let's go. Get out from behind cover, you stupid out. Yes, open the door. Okay. This is a long hallway. Great.
Over there!
Charging up!
I want my rifle. Okay, that was dead.
Shields disabled.
Down. Down.
All targets down.
Yep, I know. Thank you though, honey. Got this.
Dare you to spit over the side.
I should have probably investigated that. You know what? Maybe I'll go back up. It's like a long way down. I'm gonna go back up really, really quickly. Sorry. Get out of my way. Can I investigate this without getting killed? Okay, no. Barrier. And I was right the first time not to go looking. Great. Yeah, that's caving. Okay, so yeah, now let's go. Go. Like, actually go. Oh, thingy. Thank you. I'll die. Yep, dead. Yeah, resume last save. Oh great, I'm back here. Just pull this out, go down really quickly. Come on, pop your heads out. Done. Nice and ready.
Dare you to spit over the side.
Yeah, let's go, guys. We got this time, I promise. Okay. Can you guys just not hit anything? Is that like the case here? Oh great, more elevator. Great, broken elevator. That's even better. I hate it. I hate that. I hate it so much.
Hello? Could somebody help me? Please? Can you hear me out there? I'm trapped. I need help.
We hear you.
Liara to Sony, I presume?
Thank the goddess. I did not think anyone would come looking for me. Listen, this thing I'm in is a Prothean security device. I cannot move, so I need you to get me out of it, all right?
Okay, we can't reach
There's
you.
some kind of repulsion field in the way.
It's a Prothean barrier curtain. I knew it would keep me safe from the geth. When I turned it on, I must have hit something I wasn't supposed to. I was trapped in here. You must get me out, please.
Any suggestions on how we can help?
There is a control in here that should deactivate this thing. You'll have to find some way past the barrier curtain. That's the tricky part. The defenses cannot be shut off from the outside. I don't know how you'll get in here. Be careful. There is a Krogan with the geth. They have been trying different ways to get past the barrier.
Okay, thank you for the warning. Let's go, guys. Where's the third one? Where are you, buddy? Come on, show your face. Well, I see Kate found him. There we go. And you're down? Okay. I like your little shield things, they're cool. There we go. Take. What am I supposed to do here? Hey, nothing here.
How did you get in here? I didn't think there was any way past the barrier.
Superior fire.
We blasted through with the mining laser.
Of course. Yes, that makes sense. Please, get me out of here before more geth arrive. That button over there should shut down this containment field.
You're sure, right?
Any idea how we get out of this place?
There is an elevator back in the center of the tower. At least I think it's an elevator. It should take us out of here. Come on!
Okay.
I still cannot believe all this. Why would the geth come after me? Do you think Benezia's involved?
Saren's looking for the conduit. You're a Prothean expert. He probably wants you to help him find it.
The conduit, but I don't know.
What the hell was that?
My question exactly, actually.
These ruins are not stable. That mining laser must have triggered a seismic event.
Sorry.
We have to hurry. The whole place is caving in.
We need to get out of here.
Joker, get the Normandy airborne and lock in on my signal. On the double, mister.
Aye, aye, Commander. Secure and away. ETA 8 minutes.
Not much margin for error.
Great. A fighting arena. Oh, great. No problems.
Surrender. Or don't. That would be more fun.
We don't have time to deal with this idiot. Charge!
I like your attitude.
Oh, thanks, Shug. First try, too. Come on, guys, let's go. Good job, guys. We ran. Finally, I found her. Took me a long time.
Too close, Commander. 10 more seconds we would have been swimming in molten sulfur. The Normandy isn't equipped to land in exploding volcanoes. They tend to fry our sensors and melt our hull. Just for future reference.
Thanks, Joker.
We almost died out there, and your pilot is making jokes?
It eases tension.
It's a coping mechanism. You'll get used to it.
I see. It must be a human thing. I don't have a lot of experience dealing with your species, Commander. But I am grateful to you. You saved my life back there, and not just from the volcano. Those geth would have killed me or dragged me off to Saren.
What did Saren want with you? Do you know something about the conduit?
Only that it was somehow connected to the Prothean extinction. That is my real area of expertise. I have spent the past 50 years trying to figure out what happened to them.
Just how old are you exactly?
I hate to admit it, but I am only 106.
Damn! I hope I look that good when I'm your age.
A century may seem like a long time to a short-lived species like yours, but among the Asari, I am barely considered more than a child. That is why my research has not received the attention it deserves. Because of my youth, other Asari scholars tend to dismiss my theories on what happened to the Protheans.
So, what did you learn?
Did your research turn up anything interesting?
What is interesting is what I did not turn up. There is remarkably little archaeological evidence of the Protheans, and even less that might explain why they disappeared. It is almost as if someone did not want the mystery solved. It is like someone came along after the Protheans were gone and cleansed the galaxy of clues. But here is the incredible part. According to my findings, the Protheans were not the first galactic civilization to mysteriously vanish. This cycle began long before them.
Where'd you
How do you
come
know
up with
this?
this theory? I thought there wasn't any evidence.
I have been working on this for 50 years. I have tracked down every scrap and shred of evidence. Eventually, subtle patterns start to emerge, patterns that hint at the truth. It is difficult to explain to someone else. I cannot point to one specific thing to prove my case. It is more a feeling derived from a half-century of dedicated research. But I know I'm right, and eventually I will be able to prove it. There were other civilizations before the Protheans. This cycle has repeated itself many times over.
Okay, can you explain a little faster though?
Get to the point.
The galaxy is built on a cycle of extinction. Each time a great civilization rises up, it is suddenly and violently cast down. Only ruins survive. The Protheans rose up from a single world until their empire spanned the entire galaxy. Yet even they climbed to the top on the remains of those who came before. Their greatest achievements, the mass relays and the Citadel, are based on the technology of those who came before them. And then, like all the other forgotten civilizations throughout galactic history, the Protheans disappeared. I have dedicated my life to figuring out why.
I can help
They were
you.
wiped out by a race of sentient machines, the Reapers.
The Reapers? But I have never heard of. How do you know this? What evidence do you have?
So
There was a damaged Prothean beacon on Eden Prime. It burned a vision into my brain. I'm still trying to sort out what it all means.
Visions. Yes, that makes sense. The beacons were designed to transmit information directly into the mind of the user. Finding one that still works is extremely rare. No wonder the geth attacked Eden Prime. The chance to acquire a working beacon, even a badly damaged one, is worth almost any risk. But the beacons were only programmed to interact with Prothean physiology. Whatever information you received would have been confused, unclear. I am amazed you were able to make sense of it at all. A lesser mind would have been utterly destroyed by the process. You must be remarkably strong-willed, Commander.
This isn't helping us find Saren or the conduit.
Of course, you are right. I am sorry, my scientific curiosity got the better of me. Unfortunately, I do not have any information that could help you find the conduit, or Saren.
So how can you help
Looks like we
us?
wasted our time here.
Wait, Commander. Saren might try another attempt on my life. I'd feel safer if you let me stay on your ship. Besides, my knowledge of the Protheans might prove useful later.
And her biotics will come in handy when the fighting starts.
Good point, Garrus. Welcome
Good to
aboard.
have you on the team, Liara.
Thank you, Commander. I am very grateful. Oh, I am afraid I am feeling a bit lightheaded.
When was the last time you ate or slept? Dr. Chakwa should take a look at you.
It is probably just mental exhaustion, coupled with the shock of discovering the Protheans' true fate. I need some time to process all this. Still, it could not hurt to be examined by a medical professional. It will give me the chance to think things over. Are we finished here, Commander?
Yeah, we're done.
Go see the doctor. The rest of you, dismissed.
Mission reports are filed, Commander. You want me to patch you through to the Council?
Yes.
Patch him through, Joker.
Setting up the link now, Commander.
Commander, I hope you plan to be civil this time. I don't enjoy getting cut off mid-conversation.
Oh, God. Really would just disconnect to be a jerk.
It won't happen again, Counselor.
We've received your report, Commander. I understand Dr. Tassoni is on the Normandy.
I assume you're taking the necessary security precautions.
Honey, I know what I'm
Don't tell
doing.
me how to do my job.
You are free to act as you see fit, Commander. Our role is to offer guidance and advice.
It's up to you if you're smart enough to listen.
Okay. How are you gonna help me? Dr. Tassoni wants help. That's all that is. It's not like you're actually offering me any help. So you know what? Middle ground or disconnect? Middle ground or disconnect? Middle ground or disconnect? Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. My mother told me to pick the very best one. You are it.
I don't need this.
Communications cut, Commander.
Thank you, Joker. Love you, sugar. Okay, now that I got all my piccolos that I need, let's just walk around and talk to everybody. Joker! Hi, buddy. How is you?
I prefer gold to silver, you know, for my medal. I figured you'd recommend me for one since I, pulled your boots out of the fire.
Saving my boots from burning lava is part of your job, Joker. We don't give medals to soldiers for doing their jobs.
That figures. Just get me a nice card and a cake. No coconut, though. I hate that crap. So, Commander, why don't you tell me why you're really here?
Nothing.
I have to go.
I just
Alright, see you.
wanted to see what you would say. Thanks, buddy. Okay, let's go investigate the other peoples. Almost went in a circle there. That would have been really bad. Caden, hi, bud.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
Well, they know about the stonewalling you've had from the Council.
And what do they think?
They're on your side. They're pissed about the resistance we're getting, especially from our side. I'll have a better handle on all of it when my head stops hurting. Another L2 flare-up.
You alright?
Anything I can do?
No, Commander, it'll settle down. It's rough sometimes, but they spike higher than a lot of L3s. Except for you, of course. Besides, I fared a lot better than some after Kinetics was through.
Got a story there, Alenko?
You know the records about the biotic training out on Jump Zero? They're all classified, because the Alliance made mistakes. After first contact, Kinetics was set up to track Element Zero exposures and develop implants for humans. Once we had an embassy on the Citadel, Kinetics could bring in experts instead of taking it slow.
Get your knuckles rapped a few times, Lieutenant?
Yeah, you could say that. Our instructor was a Turian by the name of Commander Vernus. A real hard-ass. He basically had a free pass to break us if it would turn out a decent biotic.
That's
kind of
horrible.
spiraled from there, Commander.
Did he ever face charges for that?
He got his, yeah. But like everything else at Jump Zero, it was under the table. The less said, the better. Anyway, this is ancient stuff. I walked it off a long time ago. I should get back to my duties, Commander. We're here to make history, not rehash it.
Good point, buddy.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Dr. Tassoni. She seems nice enough. Hard to believe she's older than both of us put together.
Any intentions there, Lieutenant?
No, Commander. Just art appreciation.
Okay, buddy.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
See you, bud. Oh, here's where you are.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
She's
You're
the
in
best.
good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I never properly thanked you for saving me from the geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up,
It's part of the mission.
I had to save you. You can help me stop Saren.
I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
We'll see.
Promises are easy to make, but hard to keep.
I do not begrudge you your suspicions. I just hope in time you will come to trust me.
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
Rumors?
Like what?
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals. My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
How's that possible?
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits on to our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
You Asari live for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner dies?
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We have learned to take a philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the time we spend with them. And even after they're gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
That's cute. Sweet. Oh my god. I like her.
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
Benezia never told you her partner's name?
Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood. Though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face, it is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Then what'd you do?
Why agree to the union if she didn't want any children?
I cannot answer that. This is all speculation on my part. It is possible she wanted to be part of my life, but something happened to her before she had the chance. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
Benezia was swept up in events beyond her control and lost herself. She fell under the spell of indoctrination and became part of the very thing she wanted to stop. But I will remember and honor how she lived, not how she died. My mother was strong, kind, and beautiful, and now she is gone.
Sorry.
Are you gonna be okay?
You are kind to ask, Shepard. I do miss her, and I grieve for what happened to her. But I will not let my grief interfere with what we are trying to accomplish.
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
You
must enjoy something about it.
I love my work. Seeking out history's lost secrets has a special appeal for me. You were actually touched by working Prothean technology. That is why I find you so fascinating, Commander.
I'm fascinating?
Sounds like you want to dissect me in a lab somewhere.
What? No, I did not mean to insinuate. I never meant to offend you, Shepard. I only meant that you would be an interesting specimen for an in-depth study. No, that's even worse.
Oh, relax.
Calm down, Liara. I was only joking.
Joking? Oh, by the goddess, how could I be so dense? You must think I am a complete and utter fool. Now you know why I prefer to spend my time in the field with data disks and computers. I always seem to say something embarrassing around other people. Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
But it was cute!
I should go.
Hilarious.
Goodbye, Shepard.
God, I know why people like her now. Oh dear. She's a scientist too, and I have a thing with smart people. There you are. I don't want my brain didn't see you.
What do you want, Shepard?
Why did you become a mercenary?
Lots of reasons.
Elaborate.
Such as?
Such as, I needed to get out of our system. I needed to eat. I needed to survive.
I know why you leave.
Why not stay and help your people?
I tried to help. That's why I had to leave.
What happened?
I was betrayed.
I'm sorry.
I was head of a small tribe. We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us. They followed Jared, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians. But he was old, and so were his ideas. He wanted to continue the war. He wanted us to fight. Turians, Solarians, each other. It didn't matter who, as long as we were fighting.
What did you want?
I just wanted Jared to shut up, to stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray. But he couldn't understand how much things had changed. We didn't have the numbers to go to war. Even if we did, The genophage made sure we couldn't replenish our numbers fast enough. I told them all to forget about war. We needed to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. And for a while, we were getting through. Some of the tribes started coming around.
I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that.
No, he didn't. He arranged a crush with the tribes, a meeting on neutral ground. He wanted to talk. We met at the Hollows, near the graves of our ancestors. The skulls of our dead laid bare to remind us where we come from, and where we all go. It's as sacred as any Krogan place can be. Violence is forbidden.
Sounds like a trap to me. You must have suspected as much.
I did. But when your father invites you to a crush, well, there are some laws that even we hold sacred.
Your father?
Jared was your father?
He was. Until that day. We talked, but we didn't get anywhere. When it was clear that I wouldn't join him, he gave the signal. His men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead. The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest. That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back.
I'm really sorry and actually really like you now.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
You're intelligent. A bit rough.
Commander?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was just watching some mail from home.
Oh, before I go, we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute. Later, sis.
Let's pretend this never happened.
Are you interested in the lieutenant, Chief?
Fraternization is against regulations, ma'am. Don't ask, don't tell. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
Tell me about your family.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
Next, you'll tell me you all ran across green fields singing show tunes.
Don't knock show tunes. I might have to take exception. Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike. I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
You ask me, boys need a cold shower that lasts from age 12 to 25.
They have their uses, ma'am. Not all of them keep their brains in their pants. Mike thought they'd go for a romantic walk in the woods, because he figured it was past time they did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
Sarah couldn't have been fond of you escorting her.
Embarrassed the hell out of her. But it was worth it in the end. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her. I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk, and there's blood everywhere.
She cracked him in the face. Good.
When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell. She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was gonna end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Interesting
Your
story.
sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I've enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
I didn't know you liked classical literature.
Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out, he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
It's a good
Does he
piece.
still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home. Dad passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching, though.
He's not a zombie, is he?
You know, from heaven, wherever that is. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God?
As long as you're not
That depends on whether you have a problem with people who don't believe in God.
Commander, I'm not some kind of zealot. I believe in God. What everyone else believes is their business. I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
I'm trying to be rude, but
Dismissed, Chief.
Ashley, I do
Ma'am.
like you. You have an interesting everything, to be honest.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
Anything
I
specific?
bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Solarian geneticist I was sent to investigate. That case was a bit disturbing.
What happened? Why were you investigating him?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly. We usually get a few of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
This common?
You've seen this before on the Citadel?
Every so often, some lab sells unwanted parts through the black market, but they're not as bad as the psychos. I remember this one Elcor diplomat we caught in my first year on the job. He was hacking people up and selling their organs, had the station in a bit of a panic. But this case wasn't that clear-cut. Turns out there was more going on than we first realized.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development, but there was nothing. No Solarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
Okay, I shouldn't have asked that.
What'd you do about the geneticist?
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
Good thinking. Lackeys are always easier to scare.
Exactly. Though in this case it paid off in a different way. One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes. Walking, living test tubes.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good. Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the inside, hidden so nobody could see it.
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Why not? What the hell happened?
He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway. They just used them to make more organs, but they wouldn't listen.
No wonder you hated it there. Those idiots just let him fly away.
Yes, they did. I went to Palin and told him what I thought of him and his policies. He said if I didn't like it, I could quit. Well, I almost did. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
A few casualties is a small price to pay to stop someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those hostages might be wishing they'd died by now anyway. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salian?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
I was hoping you'd say that, but Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Salion, I want to be there when you find him.
I promise I will take you with me. Definitely. Let's see, am I still recording and streaming? Okay, yes I am. With some pretty bad skipped frames for some reason. But at least my recording's good. Okay. For anybody watching this on Twitch, I am definitely sorry about skipped frames. If you want to see the full thing without the skips, I would suggest checking out my YouTube channel in next week or so. I should have episodes up by then. Not episodes, but you get my point. Videos up by then. So, yeah.
Shepard, I'm glad you're here.
Good to see you smiling again, so to speak.
I'm sleeping much better now. I guess I'm getting used to how quiet your ship is. I still think a lot about my pilgrimage, though. I know Starin's our top priority, but with all the worlds we go to, I was hoping to find something to bring back to the flotilla.
Don't worry, you will.
We've still got a long way to go. You'll find something to take back.
Yes, but it cannot just be some derelict ship my people can use for salvage. It has to be more than that. There's a lot expected of me.
What's so special about you?
It's my father. He's the senior member of the Admiralty Board. He's one of only 5 people who can overrule the decisions of the Conclave for the good of the migrant fleet. My father is responsible for the lives of 17 million people. Our entire race is in his hands, and I'm his only child.
So are you some kind of heir to the Quarian throne or something?
No, it doesn't work that way. My father's position isn't hereditary. I'll probably never serve on the Admiralty Board myself. Officially, I'm just the same as any other citizen, but it doesn't work that way in practice. People have always treated me differently because of who my father is.
You must get all kinds of special privileges.
I probably had it easier than most growing up, but it's not all good. People like my father have enemies, and they're not above using me to get to him.
It's a lot of
must
pressure.
be tough on you.
My people place a high value on family and ancestry. There's an unspoken expectation that I'll live up to my father's example. Everyone's waiting for me to do something great on my pilgrimage, something that will forever change our lives for the better. If I don't, it's like I failed, and that reflects badly on both me and my father.
The work you're doing here is more important than anything an Aquarian's ever done before.
Yes, I know. But you have to understand Quarian culture. We're a very insular society. The events beyond the flotilla don't much matter to the average citizen. Our greatest dream is that one day we'll return to our homeworld and drive out the geth. But even if we stop Seren, that's not going to happen. There's still millions of geth behind the veil. Until they're gone, our exile will continue.
What would you need to bring back to make everyone happy?
Something that would help us better understand the geth. They've changed significantly since the exile. They've continued to evolve. We've done our best to study them, but it's not easy. They're very reclusive. Until recently, they never went beyond the borders of the Veil. And all the geth we run into now are under Seren's control. We'd need to find geth operating on their own, independently. But I don't want this to get in the way of our mission, Shepard. First, we stop Seren. Then I'll worry about my own problems.
Okay, that's very thoughtful of you, hon.
I should go.
See you later.
Okay. I believe I'm going to end it here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope the volume for the episode was okay. Stream, whatever. I don't know why I keep calling it an episode. Just roll with me on that one. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good night or day or whatever time you're watching this. And I'll see you soon. Bye!